Let's jump to a simple favor before we wrap up today. Paul Feig getting that 83% on Rotten Tomatoes with this joint. I can't believe it that this movie is that high. I was kind of shocked because I liked it, but I left just being like, this movie is so extra. Like, definitely extra. What was your reaction to leaving the theater?
Yeah, no, I think it's a wild ride. It's a script that really compounds on itself by Act 3. Just really moves at a rapid pace by the end of the film. But this was one of the rare movies that I went in and I hadn't seen a trailer for this. I saw the good reviews. I'm like, Paul Feig, that's good enough for me. I'll go. And yeah, I was obviously pleasantly surprised, but I actually really didn't know what was going on. But yeah, no, I think there were a lot of moments where this movie could have cut off the rails or just not worked as well. But I think Paul Feig's a talented guy, great pedigree, and he landed the plane. I think the movie's really entertaining.
Yeah, and I mean, it's incredibly fun to watch, and that's kind of what I left thinking about this movie was I was describing it to a coworker, and after telling them about the plot, they're like, "That sounds so ridiculous," and I was like, "Yeah, but it was really fucking fun." And I was like, this is the kind of movie where if it came on at on an afternoon, just like flipping around the channels, I probably wouldn't flip away from this just because it seems like there's always something catchy, always an interesting relationship on screen, interesting back and forth dialogue, something that really catches you. And I think Blake Lively in particular is just like fabulous in this movie. Like you really can't take your eyes off her, and she's goddamn electric. And her and Anna Kendrick seem to have a lot of chemistry too on screen, which I thought was huge for this film since they share so much of the story together. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts around our guy Henry Golding though in this film.
Hot off Crazy Rich Asians, Nick Young back again. I think it was another good showcase for him. He's had quite the 2 months, right? I thought he was good in his role as Blake Lively's husband, and the way that, especially once he becomes more involved in the story from Act 2 onward, I think it's a lot of fun. And you spoke to the chemistry between Lively and Kendrick. I was initially kind of put off by Anna Kendrick's performance in the beginning. But then as her character changes, I was like, oh, wait, no, now she's hitting her stride. This is really great. Lively and Golding, I think they don't have a whole lot of scenes together, but it works really well. I thought they also played off each other really cool. So, yeah, I think it's funny because you look at this movie, like you write everything down, what happens. There's a lot of movie cliches in this movie, like haunted house, weird family matriarch, blackmail, stuff like that. Various tropes, right? But I got to give Paul Feig a lot of credit because this is a novel adaptation, but from what I gathered, there are some big changes that happened. He was able to steer everything, and it just builds tension, maintains engagement the whole time. That it's just so fun to watch, especially when you're watching, three beautiful performers that have great chemistry and are clearly having a great time, So, right. I don't have a lot to say. I was honestly really impressed.
And it had, like you talked about the tension it built, it had enough twists where when I thought I kind of figured out what was going on, something would happen that kind of flipped it back. So even though it had those tropes and it did feel predictable at times, it definitely surprised me as well. I really liked that. I also thought that it did a really good job, like you said, of flipping Anna Kendrick's character and having some really good growth with her, especially as she starts to kind of figure out Blake Lively's background. I also think it mixes in some really hilarious moments as well. And just some ridiculous backstory stuff. The whole Anna Kendrick fucking her brother thing is I could not, I was in shock at that. And I think this is the kind of movie where as long as you go in knowing that this is going to be tropey and campy at times, but also just a fun watch, you're going to leave feeling totally satisfied.
Yeah, agreed. It's, it's one of the biggest surprises for me, for sure.
We'll probably wrap up there. I don't think there's too much else to really say about Simple Favor other than we recommend going and seeing it.